Welcome to the show. I'm Danella, and here's what's happening now. This week, attention Walmart shoppers. We hear you. No, literally, as in eavesdropping. I'll give you the scoop on that in just a moment. Political pop is on deck. Trump apologizes, but I'm not buying it. I don't think you are either. And in our world, I swear this is shocking. Think about this. Lgbtp? What? Pedophiles are trying to move on to the LGBT movement? The sad thing about this is a friend warned me about this and I thought he was totally crazy. I'll give you the details in just a moment about what these people are trying to do. But first, it's political pop. Gotta put it first this week. Here is your political pop for Friday, July 20th. An interesting week. Okay, so we saw earlier in the week, Trump, Putin, the meeting, the hanging out in Finland. I mean, everyone's watching this. Of course, even Republicans were like, why are you meeting with this guy? Anyway, during this meeting, he totally acts as if Russia had nothing to do with meddling in our elections. And then later in the week, we see him double back on that and say, I was confused. I misspoke. It's confusing. English, yada, yada. He basically apologizes and says, no, he agrees with our government agencies, his government agencies that say Russia, in fact, did meddle in the election. So I bring this up because I know Republicans are confused. I think a lot of Democrats are kind of like, not confused. But Republicans are like, wait, we support our government agencies. Actually, a friend of mine, DanellaNOW, put on his Instagram post this week, if Trump isn't going to support the agencies, then does he actually support service people of these agencies? I think that's a great question. DanellaNOW was formerly in the service as well, and he has a right. I'm sure many people are thinking, if you don't support what our government agencies are saying, do you support the people that fight for these agencies? Good question. And what I firmly believe is that he is initially being honest. Some are saying, is he being blackmailed? Does Putin have something on him? I think this, if you watch a person long enough, they'll really show you who they are. I'm DanellaNOW, and that was your political pop. Now imagine this. Ooh, flying the first ever air taxi. Well, Rolls-Royce says a prototype is scheduled to take to the skies before the end of 2019. And this is a hybrid vehicle, seats 5 people, and can go up to 500 miles. So imagine you're trying to take a quick trip between DC and New York. You don't want to feel like, traffic. You don't want to train, you could take air taxi. Now, I'm kind of excited for this. I'm kind of scared too, because I'm a creature of habit, trying to break out of that. But I'm excited for this because I cannot tell you the amount of times I have sat in traffic. And in our nation's capital is one of the worst areas for traffic. And I just sit in traffic and I say to myself, if only I had jets on this car, and I could just hit a button and the car could lift off of the ground and just get me past the traffic so I can get onto a clear road. And to think this is happening in my lifetime. Exciting. Speaking of travel, Uber this week announced that they're going to start doing ongoing background checks of their drivers. I kind of feel like this is a Uber moment. Because what they're saying is this way, if any of their drivers have some type of run-in with the law after they're hired, they'll know. Uber. You should do that. So way to go. Keep people safe. Now, going too far on tracking is Walmart. Did you hear this? Walmart filed a patent for surveillance tech that could actually listen to customers and employees. Could you imagine what you talk about, with your family? You're walking in the store and you're shopping, and to think Big Brother is actually listening, and not the government, but literally the store. That's what they're saying. That definitely seems like an infringement upon my privacy. Come on, Walmart. And now let's jump into In Our World. This week, we're talking about pedophiles wanting to normalize their behavior, saying that they want to join the LGBT community. This is ridiculous. Now, before I get into this story, like in more detail, right? I have this friend, and this is my creative friend who's also intensely woke. He told me months ago that this was something that he heard would happen years ago. Like when I say woke, I know some of my followers are. I see you, my subscribers, your YouTube pages. I get it. And you may know this, I didn't, but one of the things he was saying to me that he learned very young, he's into, scrolls and tablets. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But he's into all of that stuff, right? So he's like, man, D, this has been documented for years that this was going to happen once they normalize, gay, lesbian, bisexual behavior, that then they'll start to want to normalize pedophiles. And I said, there's no way. We talked about this literally probably 2 hours. And he's showing me, and I'm saying, no way. Who could ever make that link? No one could ever make that link. Just because you love someone that's in a similar body to you, or you don't care what body the person is in, you just care about the spirit. Just because you feel that, I firmly believe that no way correlates between an adult and a child having sexual relations at all. And so my friend was saying, and I'm telling you, I'm going hard, like, you crazy. Nobody gonna ever do that. How could they even make that correlation? It's definitely not a correlation, but no one in their right mind would make it. And he's really like, no, D, it's prophesized to happen. When you normalize, you wait and see, this is gonna be normal. Now, then I saw this scrolling on Instagram. Headline was this: pedophiles are attempting to normalize their behavior and believe they should join the LGBT community. Tom Wilson, he's got a face up. He says, it isn't harmful if they enjoy it. Children can learn to enjoy sex with an older partner if they experience it with consent. Love is love. And he adds a little rainbow heart. What the hell are you talking about? He says, because conservatives are closed-minded and afraid of change, we live in a progressive era now. It's time to ditch pedosexual phobia. Wait, that's a word? Pedosexual phobia? And he hashtags it LGBTP. So I text my friend, like right after I see this, and first apologize, because as a married woman, I don't really be texting dudes at night, right? And I'm like, yo, I blame you for this. Screenshot, blame you for this. And I said, and he says, I hate to say that I tried to tell you. And so I had to write back like, no, you tried and really tried. Because I'm telling you, we were debating this for hours. Because I'm like, no way. Who could make that correlation? That's not a correlation. No one would ever make that correlation. And in fact, not only can someone not make it, but people would not stand for it. I still believe people aren't standing for it. But I'm like, there's no way that train of thought would make sense. And then to see that these people are making a connection, saying innocent children can give consent and enjoy. I don't even want to talk about it. Are you freaking kidding me? And enjoy that type of behavior with an adult? You are a sick individual. Like, no, you're a sick individual. That's like saying we should really do the purge. Because there's some people that feel that cleansing is okay and murder is okay to be a form of cleansing, right? We should all do that. We are really in interesting times, and I thought about not even talking about this on my podcast, and the reason was because I sometimes I just don't want to give any light to evil. Let's just put it like that. Evil that we can't do anything about. Initially, I'm like, I don't want to spread that. I'm not spreading that garbage, but I had to put this out there because it literally shocked me. I mean, you cannot imagine. I'm going hard. Like, love is love, and no one would make that argument. And my friend is literally telling me, D, you're right. Love is love, and sick people will make that argument and relate it between love between a child and an adult. And I'm looking at him like he had 4 heads on his head. So partly because he is so kind to actually be my friend and watch the podcast. So apologies. I apologized through text message. And now on this platform, thank you for trying to shed the light, spread it to me. You unfortunately are correct. And I just say for other people who, especially my subscribers, I check out your pages and I'm like, okay, cats are woke. So as you go through your life, and you're trying to spread the knowledge that you have patience with those of us that just don't know. And one of the things I loved about my friend's response was, I hate to tell you that I tried to warn you. And he didn't hit me with the, haha, I told you so, because easily this isn't a funny matter. But a lot of these kind of things aren't funny at all. A lot of these realizations, And so I really like that in our friendship, and we, alternate sometimes between I may say something, he may say something. I'm like, oh, didn't know that. Oh, didn't know that. But one of the things I fully enjoy about our friendship is that, we never make the other one feel bad or ignorant or wrong for their beliefs or what they know. We really respect one another. So that's another reason why I'm sharing this, because in this case, I'm thinking again, no way. And when I tell you I'm going hard, like we're researching, we're on the internet, we on everything. I'm pulling up facts from back in the day. I got tablets and scrolls, and he's going back in the day, and we're arguing this with all the information that we have in a respectful way. And then now, man, I swear the universe was listening and was like, bam, no, this is truth. There are some cats that's going to do that. And this is a cat right now. I repeat, if this is his real name, Tom Wilson. Can't be his real name. But that's probably his real face. You have to protect your kids from everyone, literally. You have to. You have to be aware of where your child is, who your child is with, because people out here are dangerous. And that wraps up in our world. Man, that was crazy, right? I feel even crazy talking about this. And I know y'all going to have comments. I know all that. I'll remind you of my email once again. But before I do that, because I like to do that exactly at the end of this show, I need to give you some takeaways from my son's birthday. We're going to say he turned 30 or 3. Depends on who you ask. My body says 3, but his energy says 30. So anyway, we have this party. Everything worked out. The decorations, sort of worked out. So I learned a couple lessons, and this is what I want to share with you. So the first lesson I learned is it's all going to work out. And it was a good reminder for me. I really believe that at the end of the day, especially if you are someone who has a higher power and you are aware of that higher power, that love for God in the name that you may call God, you are aware of that, you know that everything is going to work out, right? So the night before his birthday, me, my friend, we're building the centerpieces, okay? And I'm telling you, we're blowing up these balloons and tying them to little cars, and we're up to about 1:30 in the morning. I wake up in the morning, and she was so kind enough to bring over a helium tank. I've never done this. I'm not with that. I'm always like, somebody else can do that. But she brings over the helium tank. And when I wake up in the morning, I look at the box. I don't know why I didn't. Folks who blow up balloons, you guys know this. It clearly says blow up 1 to 2 hours before your event. So I run downstairs to the basement because I'm hiding these things from my son so he's not like playing with them in the morning, right? So I run downstairs and I'm like, no! Death to the balloons as they are floating on the ground. And I'm telling you, it was so many balloons, but all the balloons that we put helium in down to the ground. So, right. I'm heated, and I have all of my friends are like, Danella, it always works out. Calm down. We'll figure something out. Let's just get the stuff to the venue. It's going to work out. Like, girl, it's going to work out. So we get inside the venue and I'm like, I'm trying to just remain a calm face because at the end of the day, I still have like my son who's super amped about this birthday party that he can totally cognitively be aware of. Like, he's like, I'm going to my birthday party and he's naming everyone who's going to be there. Cake always gets invited. So it's cake's coming and then all of his friends and family. So he's amped. So all of a sudden, I lie to you not, I hear a voice say, go to the closet, because in our room is a storage closet. So the room that we rented. So we go inside this room, open up the storage closet. Why is there a helium tank in this closet? I swear. And why was it just enough helium left over to fill our balloons? I was like, oh, thank you. I have to trust that a lot of this I don't have control over. It's going to work out some kind of way. It always does. At the end of the day, it has to. There's no choice because I'm not in control. Once you give control over to your high power, you're like, it's on you. I trust you. I'm going to ride this out. So that was the main thing. That was the first thing I learned was, trust in your higher power. It's all going to work out in the best way that it should in the end. So that was a good lesson. It was a stressful lesson to learn or relearn. It was a good reminder, especially now I think I needed to have a lot of pots on my stove. I have a lot of things that I've been working on and all of them's kind of culminating into now. And so it really takes a lot of balance. And a lot of times I'm like, how am I going to do this? But it has to be done. So I know that reminder was to get me set as my path gets busier of, girl, chill out. It's going to work out in the best way. Better than what you have planned is going to work out. So, next note to self, right? Besides, do not use helium the night before and trust in your higher power. Wait, it's important to note. These aren't in order of importance. These are in chronological order in which I learned from the party. So then third is hire a photographer. So that's like a done moment. But in our defense, our good friends, in fact, my son's godfather, also great photographer, but his cousin, our other close friend, my son's godfather's cousin. Man, this guy is amazing. Him and his wife, close family friends. They're always kind enough to come to our party and take pictures, which is a blessing. They've spoiled us. We're talking every birthday, christening. They're always there. They're taking these amazing photos and giving them to us. Well, they've recently had twins, and these twins are now a year old, which makes it pretty hard to come to birthday parties. They live out of state. So, yeah. So in my mind, I wrote it on my list, bring camera. But what I didn't write on my list is give camera to person and ask person to take pictures. So we do these amazing decorations. I'm talking backdrops. We killing it. Thank God for my friends and family. Everybody's working to decorate this space that we rented. It looks gorgeous. Everything is beautiful. I don't have one picture of myself and my husband with my child. Like none of us three actually together, or even, in front of this grand backdrop that, I YouTubed and, my friend was kind enough to help make. I mean, thank God, even my nanny, she's so close to our family. She was so kind enough to come and help. But they build this whole thing up and we didn't even use it. Some people used it. We didn't. Right. So yeah, those are my takeaways. But overall, I feel really confident. I'm like, I see why people actually plan parties, like do the work. My husband's that kind of person. He loves to he'll do parties and make mixed drinks and laminate them. So when you come to the house, you'll look at it like, I'll try the Blinky Blink. Like he'll make up names for them. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. What a nice hobby. It's nice to have that. But now I see, like, he really, if he had it his way, I'm sure people would be chilling every weekend, and we'd have, these, parties and yummy food and yummy drinks. That's him. I'm not so much like that. I think I mentioned earlier in this show, creature of habit, me all day. And yeah. So, but now I see why people do it. So it was nice to try to be creative, and it works for 3. I don't know about the rest of life, but I think we really crushed 3. So thank you for your well wishes. So yeah, that about wraps up the show. Email, we were talking about that a little bit earlier. If you want to email me about the LGBTP or anything at all, you can reach me, Danella@DanellaNOW.com, and on all social platforms at DanellaNOW. As always, thank you so very much for joining the show. And thank you so much for your comments. I love interacting with you, and I really appreciate you watching and joining each week. As always, I hope you have an incredible weekend, and I will see you next week.